All right, everybody, welcome back to the Angels Rebuild series here on MLB The Show 25. We are heading to the offseason now, setting up for the 2029 season. And last year, by far, was one of the worst seasons I've ever seen this team encounter. We haven't had problems like that since the very first season of this series. So we definitely have some things to work on at this time. Now, when you look at our depth chart, our team overall is about 24th overall. We have 196 million in team salaries. Our speed is top 10. Our power is top 15. Pitching as well. Our defense is horrendous and our contact has problems. So we have to think about what would this season look like, right? Now, the depth chart is projecting certain players like Sizemore and Crosby to join. I don't know if it's time for them to do that yet. I think I would like to potentially bring up Crosby, but I want to wait one more season before doing so. Sizemore just joined the team last season, so the 2027 season. So I'd like to just have him kind of chill down there and be ready to roll. But Bruno Ramirez and Caden Donna and Shane Baz, Clausen, they're going to be at the top there. When you look at some of these guys on who's projected to be running around, we got a lot of players that look to be pretty solid across the board. But it's going to take some time to build that out. I really believe that our guys can do some good things. But we just got to put it all together. There's some really good seasons that have happened. Zach Neto, to me, went off 30 home runs last year, a career type season. He outpaced his doubles, his hits, his home runs, his ribbies, and his stolen bases by one. So I really like what Zach Neto has become. We've had him for a decent amount of time, and I'm hoping he can stay healthy. Dalton Varsho had a lot of felt like a step back. He didn't have as many home runs, but he still was all about the contact, and his WAR was just a tad lower than the previous year. But I know he is that kind of guy that's going to help us out this upcoming season. Shane Baz was injured for most of the year, and you can see that reflective in his innings that he pitched last year. I think his ERA will match up with how he can get it done this year, but it was tough to see this man struggle, and hopefully will be better. The addition of Butler lets you know that now that he is our true dog at right field, boy oh boy does this guy really hold it down. A career season for him despite our overall team not succeeding. He had 34 home runs, 4 triples, 34 doubles, 172 hits, and 97 runs with a 274 batting average. His WAR was 2.8, so he basically had a career season. So our team not doing so well, some of our guys really stepped up. Logan O'Hoppe, to me, had a horrendous season. His stats and stuff say that he's increased, but it was one of the worst things I've seen. He kind of dropped down to what we saw in 2026. So the hope is that he'll pop off this season. He had 21 home runs the previous year, so he had 9 less. He struck out more. It was just not a great year for Logan, and we'll continue to pay attention to that. His WAR hasn't been this low in a very, very long time. So we'll hopefully make that work. Caden Donna had a very up and down season. He had gotten hurt a little bit. 117 innings pitched. We had him start a little bit. We had him play in the bullpen, and it was not a great year for him. I think this youngster, though, is potentially going to pop off. I think we have a breakout season for him. Bruno Ramirez, he struggled a little bit, but he had a very good season. 3.57 ERA, pitched 179 innings. So I think with Bruno and where we stand, this is a chance for us to take advantage of the capital that we've invested from a cap standpoint, like the salary standpoint, and leverage that to bring in somebody else. Joe Adell went off last year. He was the guy I really appreciated. 60 ribbies, 19 home runs, 23 doubles, 110 hits. He just was ready to go. 252 average, but his WAR was the best he's had in the last 5 years. So I'm hoping Adele goes off. Matsui, I spent money on this guy, but not as much. If we need to move on from him, I am not as worried, but he pitched more innings than he did when he was with the Padres the previous year. He had a lower ERA, even though he pitched more, and his WAR is about the same. So we got some guys, man. Nolan Shanua had a pretty good year last year, 17 home runs, so he's starting to crack that bat. But yeah, Sizemore could come up. That could be a pitcher we could look at bringing in and having him try it out. But at 23 years old, do we really want to mess with that? And this is where, you know, I look at where I am from a roster standpoint. We have one extra spot available, and you want to take advantage of that. We have 91 players on the roster, so I could bring in some youngsters in the prospect farming, in the farm system there, to see if that'll work out. But we do want to make sure that if we invest on a free agent, I want the best, whether it's a really, really good outfielder or a good infielder or a good pitcher or whatever. But we need some help. The Rhys Hoskins thing debacle did not work out. We need to get an infielder that can kind of pair up with Christian Moore. Christian Moore had a good year last year. He did progress, but I did not see as much as I would hope for in Christian Moore. So we need to figure out how to get that going. I'd say we didn't see much from Trey Sweeney. This guy was hurt for the entire freaking year, despite his durability being in 84. That was incredible, the amount of time this guy did not play. So we need to see Trey Sweeney step up this year. We need to see the shortstop. So Blaze, he's been a really good backup for us, and we got the capital there to kind of help him out. So again, we're doing all the right things, in my opinion, that are going to set us up. The outfield, I know Joe Adele is doing his thing, but we do got a player in Jack Charles that we could potentially decide to bring up versus bringing someone else in. But I think Nick York is going to be a really good piece for us. He could play left and right field, so he'll be able to have that ability for us to kind of work through it, because we do have Mike Soroka, Sirota, who's also going to be playing in the outfield here. We traded for him, and that's the hope. Mike Trout will continue to play DH. We don't really need him out there, but he'll jump in from time to time. With this 75 overall drop, like, it's going to be tough to see how this guy's going to do his thing, but he is dramatically regressed in a way that really terrifies me. He had more at bats than he had in 2025, and yet his hitting has struggled. So not as many home runs. He was like consistent for a while, and then just did not do anything after that, and it was injuries. So we'll throw Trout in when we need to, but most of the time, you know, we're not really going to kind of get too crazy here. He's a very good player. He's got 2 more years left on his contract, so we'll see how the Trout train grows. But maybe we decide to move on from him, give him a chance to play for like a big team, and maybe he gets it done somewhere else. But that's a decision we're going to have to think about. One of the things we also have to work through right now is the staff. So we lost our hitting coach, our first and third base coach. Luckily, right, we were able to solidify some guys like Jeremy Hefner in the farming system. We got 1 more year with Dave Roberts. So the hope is that this guy is going to get us here. Maybe we'll have an opportunity to re-sign him next year. Hitting coaches, right, are very tough to find. Want to make sure that you bring in somebody that is going to work through it. The first base and third base coach are going to be crucial as well. So we'll put some signings in there, and I'll let you all know what we decide to do after that. So we submitted some guys there, and one of the things that I'm debating right now is, do we decide to bring back Luke Weaver? He is 35 years old. Bringing him back shouldn't cost us too much. Having Luke Weaver on the team has been nice, and I think that if we bring him back, we should be able to be okay and comfortable with that decision there. Now, what could we bring him back for? I think at 35 years old, with the amount of money that we have available, I think a $6 million deal is affordable. I hope he decides to take it. We will offer him that contract, and we will make it work. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm wondering if we try to give him a little bit more? What if we just gave him 7? Make sure to bring him back. We got enough cap. And I think Luke Weaver has been a very good player for us. He's gotten involved quite a bit. His amount of innings he's pitched has gone down, but his ERA has been consistent the last 2 years. His WAR isn't so great, but I think with Luke Weaver, I want to put him in a position for us to use him sparingly. So that's what we'll do there. Now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and head to the free agent time. Let's see what we got here. So Chase Franks is no longer interested. We'll kind of go there. Moreno is accepted to be a third base coach for the Tigers. So that's unfortunate there. Pena is no longer interested. Diaz is no longer interested. Cash is accepted a manager position. There you go. So we got our hitting coach, Leo Neal, for 4 years. I think that's a good one there. Let's continue to check out our coach contracts right now. So we got Leo Neal. He's got good plate. The power is all there. We just got to figure out the third base coach and first base coach. So I'm hoping we'll be able to kind of work through it. It's unfortunate that we weren't able to get some of the guys. The third base coach here is Ollie Flutie. He's kind of interested. I think that's the highest one we have there. So I'm going to try to see if we could withdraw the offer, make an offer, and maybe try to go like 4 years and try to give him $1 million. Let's see if that'll work out there. Third base coach, I don't know if I have anyone. We do. So that's for the first base. So we do not have a third base guy. It's kind of tough, man. You try to find the right coaches here, and we're just struggling a little bit. I think the blocking wouldn't be bad. Try to give him 4 years. Let's go 960. So we're gonna head to the free agent market and see what we find here. Nope. Kind of work through that. So did we get what we wanted there? And he did not. Oh, he did. Luke Weaver did re-sign. So sweet there. Weaver did re-sign. Happy about that. So glad we got him. We got a $7 million deal. We'll move through it here. Looks like we are ready to go. And did these guys not sign yet? It's gonna be a minute, huh? Well, we're the only ones that want them, so hopefully it'll work out. Let's go back to that. Who re-signed? Thought I saw something there. Oh, it looks like Luis Gil, 4 year, $99.6 million deal right there. So Luis Gil is out of the market for us. Today is the, yep, let's leave it there. So here we go. Free agent market is out there. We're going to see what we can do. Looks like we have 37 players on our roster. As far as the 40-man's concerned, we got players that we could potentially bring up and have them be a part of the 40-man roster over time. I could see that with maybe 2 guys on this board, but I got to work through that. We have to tender a ton of contracts. There's a lot of players here that we're going to have to work through. Nothing through arbitration, but let's talk about some potential free agents that are out there. Gunnar Henderson. He's got a qualified offer, so if we go for him, we're going to lose picks. You got Jose Ramirez, another qualifying offer. Ronald Acuna. So this doesn't really help us out, bro. Like, what are we doing? You got recommended guys that doesn't. So let's think about some pitchers. Who is actually out there? These are all like, we don't have anybody until Hunter Brown. So he's asking for a 4-year, $21 million deal. He's 30 years old. He had a pretty good year last year, 3.29 ERA. He was 10-13, 33 games started, 166 innings pitched last year, 2.8 WAR, so his WAR was even pretty solid for the Astros. That wouldn't be a bad move for us. I think you have him in here. You can kind of mix it up. You give yourself a chance to have a pretty solid player, and at $21 million, that's well within our range. You look at Ryan Nelson, 84 overall. He's 31 years old, so a little older a year older there, but he went off. He had his career year pitching lights out there at 31 years old, but his ERA was reflective of a very tough season. Still though, 2.8 WAR. So I really like what I see here. He kind of keeps the ball down, doesn't create a lot of home runs, so it's pretty interesting there. Reynaldo Lopez, 35 years old. He'd probably be more of a middle long reliever there if we brought him in. But that might not be a bad deal. You're looking at Tyler McGill, 33 years old, 6'7", big dog out of California. 3.95 ERA. So if we were like to patch this, that would be the move there. My issue with this, I'm trying to find somebody where we're not going to patch it. We're actually going to bring him in and be a dog. Now, Jose Barrios is asking for a 2-year deal for $20 million. That wouldn't be a bad move for us. Again, we have the opportunity to do his thing, but at 34 years old, are we grabbing him on the way down? Patrick Sandoval's out there. Edward Cabrera. This was a player here that has some really good promise. Overall, pretty good fastball. Velocity and his clutch are very high, but he always has a very high ERA, but that could be just because he was with the Marlins. 5.23 ERA, but 128 strikeouts, 144 innings. He'd probably be mixed up. We'd have to make sure we have a good long reliever to help him out, but he had a pretty good WAR so far. The previous year, not so much. So if we brought in Cabrera, he's asking for a whole lot less. So he can kind of grow with our squad, or, you know, maybe we lean in on trying to bring in somebody else, but there's some pretty good pitchers out there. I don't know if there's anyone here that really, oh wow, how did Reed do with the Diamondbacks? So Reed Detmers, he's asking for $16.2 million, 4 years. So Reed Detmers last year, so we traded him, and then he ended up going to the Diamondbacks. He had 163 innings pitched in 2027, 4.13 ERA, so he looked like he was doing pretty well. Then last year, 4.53 ERA, 149, so he pitched less. He had a 2.2 WAR, so Reed Detmers is not that bad. I just don't want to bring him back. He's just not our guy. Kodai Senga, 36 years old. You bring this guy here from Japan, you know, or he's a Japanese player there. 4.17 ERA, 36 years old. I mean, Kodai Senga could be still pretty solid, but it's about trying to prep this team for the long haul. So, I don't know if I really want to lean on that. I don't think there's any closer or relievers that I'm really pumped about. Jose Alvarado is out there now. We sent him to a team with hopes that he would make it work, and now he's out there. Will Vest, you know, I really liked how he played when he was with us. He actually had a pretty good year when he was with us last year. He's still doing his thing. So we could look at Will Vest. He's not looking for that much. There's Drew Rasmussen out there. He did way better when he was with the Padres. So again, this is pretty interesting free agents out there. I don't see myself trying to bring in another closer. Just doesn't make sense. Catcher, I think Haney's going to be fine as a backup there. If I bring another first baseman, I just don't know if it's going to be someone like Tristan Casas or something like that. It just doesn't feel right. If we brought in a second baseman, I'd be pretty pumped about it. I think if you brought in someone like Ketel Marte to be backing up or playing alongside Christian Moore, this could be pretty good for us. This would be, he's asking for $24 million, so you take him along with another guy that like a pitcher. I think you would be settled in, and that would be it there. Jose Ramirez, you know, there's some pretty good guys that are out there, but you know, you look at third baseman, I don't really want to do anything with that. I think we got the right guys that can kind of fill that spot. There's shortstop, don't really need to do that, but Volpe would be fun. Anthony Volpe could only play shortstop. Nito is out there. We already grabbed Cabrera. How cool would that be to bring in Anthony Volpe? He's 27 years old, still very young. Willie Castro is out there. He's 31 years old. That's another guy that I'd be like, he can kind of be the jack of all trades there for us and kind of work through it. CJ Abrams, this would be a fun guy here. 28 years old. He could play second base as well as shortstop, so we can find that mix there to to kind of help out the outfield. He's asking for 17.4 million. So CJ Abrams is that kind of free agent that would be very interesting. Now, do we bring in another outfielder? Potentially. I just don't see myself bringing someone in like Yordan Alvarez. Maybe Riley Green. I think if you bring in someone like Riley Green, right? We got Varsho, Adele, and maybe you move Lawrence as a designated hitter and you bring in Riley Green and have an elite outfield. At 28 years old, like this could be his true prime time, ready to roll. That's a player I'd be down for. Now, he does have a qualifying offer, so that can wreck us. Now, you also got another guy, Jarren Duran. I'm a fan of this guy. Coming from the Red Sox, he had a pretty good year last year. He's more of a consistent hitter. He's not going to slam a bunch of home runs, but he's going to be able to do his thing as far as hitting. So this could be pretty interesting play here. You have Tyler O'Neill from the Orioles, could be a pretty good mix for us. He could probably play designated hitter. You know, I don't think that would be a bad move there. Let Lawrence play out there. Have Tyler O'Neill be our new designated hitter potentially. There's Taylor Ward. Taylor Ward, he ended up on the Padres and did pretty good. 29 home runs. So he's still balled out, but he was with the Padres. I never know when it comes to the Padres, dude. Those guys tend to be tough. Spencer Steer, 31 years old. He could play outfield, left field, and then all of the interior. He's very durable. I think that's another guy that could be pretty solid for us there. Center fielders, Byron Buxton at 35 years old. He'd truly be like a DH kind of replacement every now and then. This would be fun. He's 30 years old. O'Neal Cruz. He's a big dog. 6'7", 240 pounds. He's regressed a little bit there, but when I see what's possible, like it's pretty awesome. He was an all-star last season or 2 seasons ago, hitting around the same, but he's huge, dude. He's a big guy, 4.7 WAR too. So you bring him in essentially to be your DH / like outfield replacement to help out with Varsho and stuff. Jake McCarthy could be really cool too. There's some really Cedric Mullins, man. So like we got some dogs. Right field, I mean, Seiya Suzuki at 34 years old could truly help us out in the outfield, as well as be like a good replacer there. He had 146 games, so he did get some breaks every now and then. Looks like he's pretty solid against righties, but very good contact against lefties, so that can help us out in the lineup there. I wouldn't be upset with bringing in someone like Josh Lowe coming over from Tampa Bay. He's 31 years old, so they finally let the man go. Is it time to bring him in? He was a Gold Glove too. So there are some options, folks. I'm looking forward to messing with this free agency here. Like I said, we got about 50. I think we got about 50 million. That's what I think I understand. We got about 50 million. Let's look at the budget real quick. Should be the case there. Yeah, so we have $52 million in available funds. That's going to include all the players that we have in the minor league too. So we got to figure that mix, and hopefully we'll bring in the right guys, but we got some possibilities. Now, you could just truly remove everything and take Trout out of it, and then we would have a $35 million spread. But like I said, my goal is to bring in dogs to help out this team, and I want Trout to have a ring as an E. We're going to work on that, folks, and we'll see what happens in just a minute. So the 2 free agents I am gunning for right now are Hunter Brown, a starting pitcher who is 30 years old. He's looking for a decent contract, right? We're looking at $21 million. That would kind of fit with what's possible there. He is a pretty strong pitcher. He's got the aggressiveness that I like, the speed. His sinker, his fastball are pretty sick, and he's got a 12-6. He's got some good breaking balls. I like the fact that this guy could be pretty solid for us. His ERA is within range, and his WAR is pretty much on average with where he's been. He hasn't been as good as maybe his 2024 season, but 30 years old. We could sign him for a 4-year deal. This is our big blockbuster move right here. I want this guy, Riley Green. The hope is that he doesn't take a qualifying offer, and then maybe we can go after him. Having someone like Riley Green back there, to me, gets this outfield in a really good spot, which allows us to then move Lawrence Butler to the DH role. Him and Trout can kind of take control of that. But our outfield will have some youngsters backing these guys up. But I think with him, Varsho, and Lawrence Butler, Varsho, Joe Waddell, it's going to be a very, very good crew. I don't see myself doing much more than that. I am considering a second baseman if we can't get Riley Green, but you know, we'll kind of work through it there. Technically, I could go after one more guy. I just don't know how that's going to work for us. The player that I am considering bringing in is Nolan Gorman. He swings out of the lefty. I think at 28 years old, he can combine pretty well with him and Christian Moore. My issue with that, though, is if we did that, I don't think that's really going to overall work, you know, be pretty solid, because him and Christian Moore working through there. We got Blaze Alexander. We have Oswaldo Cabrera. You got Trey Sweeney. So I think we got enough utility guys to work through it. Now, he would be very solid from a power hitter, kind of continue to strengthen that component there. If I decided to do that, it would drop everyone down, and I would rather just let this thing work through it, kind of try to see if we can bring these guys in. Our needs, I'm looking for just hitting. I think our pitching's in a pretty good spot if we can grab that pitcher there, but I really want to make sure we look for guys that can get on base, get contact, and allow us to put more runs on the board there. So that is what we will do, and we'll see what happens next. I went ahead and tendered everyone's offer. The only ones that are out there right now are J.R. Sizemore, Michael Crosby, and Robert Oranian. It's because I'm trying to see if I can get them for extra years. Sizemore at 23 years old, we can sign him for $780,000 a year. That'd be sweet. Same thing with Michael Crosby, 2-year deal. You again get some chances to bring some guys up that could really help us out, and not have to spend and break the bank there. As far as the 40-man roster is concerned, we went ahead and added another player there to work through it. So we have some players that could potentially be on the 5-year draft, and if they get picked up, we wish them the best of luck. But like Brett Carey, I don't really see myself trying to bring him in. Mason Erla, same thing. Daniel Vasquez, Sandy Gaston. If they get picked up, they get picked up. Sandy Gaston was interesting for me. I think Gaston, yep, he was undrafted. We just brought him in. I think he could be pretty solid for somebody, but it's just not for us at this time. So we're going to try to see if we can get some calls in here. Looks like Willie Casado has accepted our offer to be our third base coach. Love that. Flutie is also, so we now have our full staff. That is awesome there. So we got, you know, Dave Roberts for one more year, who, to me, we might be able to reduce this salary there next season by $9 million to bring in a new manager that I think can work out. Leo Neal's good with plate discipline, contact, clutch, and power. Buford is our pitching coach, is going to continue to help us with control, clutch, and walking along with breaks. Ollie Flutie, arm accuracy, so the fielding is going to be a little bit better along with speed and stealing. Third base coach, blocking, so helping out with the catcher, speed, fielding. Again, that's what I'm focusing on for these guys. And then the farm director, again, looking at speed, contact, reaction, and hopefully this will all build up. So our staff salary is about $15.2 million. We are left with $44.91 million in surplus. We'll see if any of these guys kind of work through it here. Let's see what we got. So no one left right now. Now let's see what happens. Today is the day to offer cut. Would you like to stop simulating? Let's see what's out there. So when you look at the free agency market, Hunter Brown is definitely there. We still got a ways to verify it, but Hunter Brown would be the guy. You're looking at Riley Green here. If we did this, this would be huge. So I'm willing to offer a contract. $21 million is more than fair. At 30 years old, I think this will be pretty freaking clean here. I don't really try to go too high in this spot, but I'm hoping that will be enough. It says 62%, so we'll see if he's willing to take that. We'll send the offer there. Now, Riley Green, there is a rumor of other players trying to grab him. My issue is Riley Green, you know, a player that we're willing to take? Because I think when you look at where he stands, Riley Green, like the qualified offers are still out there. So if we go after Riley Green, we're going to potentially lose picks. Do we want to do that? Are we sure we want to do that? He's the top. He's a number 7 freaking ranked player out there. I think that's more than fair. I want to do it. Now, if we did this, we'd be left with 21 million. So these 2 free agents would pretty much be it. If we want anybody, we'd have to trade somebody. I think this is what I'd like to do here. We have 21.03 million. If we can up it a little bit. Ooh, this would be tough. I think 21 is what I'd like to do. Let's see if Riley Green wants to play for us. We signed a 5-year deal. 5+ motivation boost. We just made our first competitive offer to a top 25 pick. Let's see what happens, folks, and let's see if that works out. Sizemore is the last one there, it looks like, to accept the offer. He's probably going to, though, with no issue. Let's see what we got. Hunter Brown has made a decision. And he is here, baby. We brought in a dog. 4-year deal, $21 million. This is huge. He's a number 31 ranked free agent out there. We made the decision to bring him in. You're talking about Hunter Brown. He's going to be in the rotation now. He's probably going to be... it's going to be between him and Shane Boz. And I think we're going to let Hunter be the starter there. But that's huge. Now you're talking about a big opportunity to make it work here. We have one more potential pitcher we can bring up. I'm thinking we could bring somebody up sooner than later. And that could be an opportunity to maybe bring up J.R. Sizemore. And that could solidify this pitching rotation there. But that's huge for us. Really happy about that. As far as other transactions around the league, I don't know if there's anyone out there yet. So that was the biggest one. Doesn't look like anyone else signed anyone crazy. But that is the biggest deal out there. I'm glad we did it. Hopefully he works out for us. I really do. It says can no longer afford the size. Whoa, dude. Oh, here it is. The contract decision's made. J.R. Sizemore is looking for a deal right here. Will this happen? Contract is made, and Riley Green is a freaking angel. Holy crap. 5-year deal, $28.1 million. This is a big deal. $140 million contract. This sets us up. Now, with that being said, they just talked about the contract here. I have to make a decision on maybe cutting somebody who we spent some money on. So we're going to have to look at our budget real quick and see who is somebody that we're willing to let go of right now, right? There's some pretty good players here. I think what we could potentially do is we could make a move for a trade. And I'm thinking of offloading someone like Ryan Zefferjon to a team along with maybe another prospect. So I'm going to try to work on that real quick as we are now negative 3.96 million in the hole. So we got to start looking at trying to grab some other pieces here. I'm going to work on that in a little bit for a little bit here, see what we decide to do. I mean, you could make everything go away on one fell swoop and get rid of Mike Trout. I mean, but this, and the thing is I don't know if we were to do this, well, what the heck, if we were to trade Mike Trout, right, what would that look like? If we decide to trade Mike Trout to another team, who would want that kind of contract? I mean, we could send him to the Orioles. That's my thing is do they really need a right fielder? I mean, Colton Cowser's there, not really the right fit. You got Ryler Abreu there for the Red Sox. You got the Yankees with Aaron Judge, and they don't really have much after that. They got the budget. So if we were to send that over, maybe you can try to grab like another prospect, like a very, very low-end prospect. The Yankees could work out for us. The Rays, not really the team I'd like to send him to. You're looking at the Blue Jays, no thank you. White Sox, no way. Guardians, potentially. Tigers, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad move there. If we sent him over, I mean, he'd be a regressing type of guy, but I want to send him to a team that has a shot at winning. Twins, nope. Astros, no. Athletics, no way. Mariners, I don't want to send, I do not want to go against him. Rangers, no thanks. Braves, they do need one. Like when you look at the rest of their team, I mean, you send him to the Braves, that could work out. So if we were to go and check out prospects, would the Braves have anybody that's within range here? And it looks like people are excited for him. We'd be able to grab someone like a first baseman and Micah Harry. I think this would be a very interesting play here. So I think what I'd like to do, I gotta be smart here and go for it. We could go after a guy that's a low OVR prospect. He was drafted in the 6th round. He's got a potential, but you know, that couldn't work there. I think this would be the move. We would go ahead and take someone like Carlos Cardona. I think this is a fair deal here. He gets to go to a team where I think the Braves, right? They got Ozzy Albiz there, Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Ha-Seong Kim, Javier Rope, like Michael Harris is still there. Hunter Bishop is still there. So they got some dogs. Their catcher's pretty solid. Edwin Diaz is there. Grant Holm, like these guys are primed. Spencer Strider's still, like they're primed to win. So I think this is what we're going to do here. The hope was to try to get Trout going, but I think we gotta, with Riley Green being added, it doesn't make sense to bring him on. So we'll take a guy here that is truly a project player. Carlos Cardona, he's considered a top prospect, but he is so far away from being something that we'll throw him in the single lane, just let him kind of progress there. Maybe by 26 years old, he'll be ready to go. So we wish you the best of luck, Trout. But now that helps us out there. As you can see, the trade gets accepted, no concerns. We have 93 players on the roster now, and this will allow us to tender the offers here with no concerns. So do that. And J.R. Sizemore, we're going to try to get this contract in order here. I'd like to get him for 3 years. Oh, our roster is completely full. Roster's completely full. Okay, so who would I take out here? Their AA guy I'd take out, maybe Cole Fountain now. 26. Anthony Mulroy. I think he can do that. It's going to cost us 45 grand, but that's okay. I need J.R. Sizemore on this team. There ain't no way we're not going to renew this guy. That's kind of insane. So that's what I wanted to do there. Make sure we have that contract. So we are pretty much within range here. Ooh, let's look at that. What just happened? Free agent signing. So Byron Buxton signed a 2-year, $50 million deal to go to the Pirates. So we spent $224 million to make sure we brought in some dogs, and I'm really pumped about that. Our pitching rotation looks freaking good. When you look at our lineup now, Riley Green is in there. So you're talking about Nick York truly being like a backup player. And we get an opportunity here to feel really good. You know, we're talking about very good hitters across the board. And I cannot be upset about it. We now have some good backups that I think I can get comfortable with, and hopefully they'll progress. And if we do decide to make a trade, I'd have to consider maybe a pitching trade or something like that. Like if I was going to trade anybody, I mean, maybe Kakanowitz. He'd be a guy I could potentially trade, and then that'll give us some room to maybe grab one more reliever in this area, but I don't really have to worry about that. So that gets us to 39, and I think with the J.R. Sizemore decision there, I think that's where we kind of pull the trigger here. Oh, wait, I got 26 players there. What's going on? I think if we move Sizemore up and we say we're going to give this youngster an opportunity to play middle reliever now, I don't know. I got to figure out where we're at with Double-A. I mean, Crosby's been playing well, but I think you want to keep him down at Double-A at 23 years old. That lets the Sizemore pick up there. And then I have someone in the majors I got to figure out what's going on here. Michael Crosby should be playing Double-A. What are we doing? Yeah, so I'm hoping for the best. Cardona's here. Lawrence. So we got some guys that are going to get a chance to develop. They're still super young. I mean, Andrew Tanner is a starting pitcher, could technically get thrown in, but I'd rather let these guys play in single A, let them get their opportunity and be ready to go. Technically, Capri Ortiz can go out there now, but nothing too crazy. So, like what I'm seeing so far, I mean, we could bring in another guy and then kind of make it work. But I'm going to think about that along the way here. So I'm trying to swing freaking for the fences, folks. We're going to look at bringing in a solid lefty in Cole Reagans. He comes over from KC. He's been pitching consistently very strong. 3.26 ERA last year, 12-12 record. But what I like about this is you're talking about a guy with a potential is going to keep his regression minimized. Good breaking ball, good fastball. We have a chance of bringing in aces after aces. We get the left fielder in Riley Green. I think our infield's in a good spot. I truly thought about Norman I really did. I thought or excuse me, Nolan Gorman. I thought that would have been a really cool move, but where I stand right now, I just don't see that happening. I think we got some good youngsters that can play in the infield and kind of work through it. Ezekiel Duran would have been kind of neat too, because he can play everywhere as well. But it'd be a battle between him and Christian Moore, and I'd rather not have that. So I think you take another pitcher that you can lean on. Technically, we could have went after a reliever, not spent all of our money, but again, you get an opportunity to kind of go off. We've been kind of very conservative with our cash, and I think now's the time with some of the players that we have. You gotta go yard, man. And Cole Reagans is our dog. This is gonna be crazy if we can bring him in. How nuts would that be if we brought him in, and we'd still have a little bit of cash left? So we'll see what happens here. Players not protected would be in the Rule 5 draft. We wish them the best of luck. Let's see what we got here. Today's the last day. Don't got to worry about that. Let's see what we got here. So Cole Reagans. Ooh, Kyle Bradish. They're looking to sign him. Not interested. 23%. It's going to take a little bit. I don't know if we're going to be able to grab this guy. I would have loved someone like Kyle Bradish, man. I mean, you could get somebody like, not about Christopher Sanchez, like a solid lefty. There isn't too many lefties that I'd be really pumped to bring in. Reed Detmers. I mean, Kodai Sang could be really fun. But he looks like he just kind of started to hit a wall. 2.1 ERA. Kodai Sang could be the backup just in case. I'll pay attention to that one. But let's see if we can bring in this free agent sooner than later. Kyle Bradish decides to sign a 3-year, $89.6 million deal to the Kansas City Royals. Gunnar Henderson, 12-year deal. Oh my gosh. How do they have money, bro? $471.4 million deal. Gunnar Henderson heading to the Mariners. I got to go against this fool. Yordan Alvarez goes to the Orioles, 8-year, $232.2 million deal. Logan Webb, a 1-year deal to the Dodgers for $38.6 million. So it doesn't look like Cole's going to be our guy. As much as I would have loved to bring him in, it just doesn't look like that's going to be the case there. So I'm going to try to go after Matt Brash. I think that's the decision right there. That could potentially work out for us. I'm going to look for another reliever here. Matt Brash is only 30 years old, so I think that could be a nice play there. Wow, Jose Cajeda. That's a freaking blast from the past, huh? He seems like he's kind of grown a little bit, playing for the National for the last 3 years. He's done all right. So I'm going to take a chance here, folks. Go after another top 50 prospect, CJ Abrams. This guy played for the Nationals his entire career. He was on I believe he was on the Padres as a prospect. He got traded, him and Woods, over to the Nationals. But what I like about this guy is he's quite versatile, and that he can play shortstop and second base. Pretty nice there. His hitting is getting a little bit better. He had a tougher year than the previous year. But his contact is there. Power is better against righties, but my contact against lefties is what I am hoping to see a little bit more for this team here. His WAR last year was 0.5, so he had a really tough year. But I'm wondering if we can lock one of these guys in. Tyler Glasnow heading to the Cubs, 3-year, $90.6 million deal. So we're able to offer Matt Brash a deal here. He's not looking for a lot. You're talking about a reliever here that had last year 52 saves, previous year 46. We get to take a player here from the Mariners. We could throw him into the middle reliever spots and kind of feel pretty good there. I would really like to do this. He's not asking for a lot. He's only 30 years old, so I'm wondering if we can kind of up the ante here. Try to bring him in for like maybe $8 million deal. And that's pretty cheap for someone like Matt Brash. So I'm hoping for the best there. I think that gives us a good chance. So the draft lottery is up. Let's see what happens. We're a top 4 pick. 13.2% chance for the #1 overall pick. Let's see if we can get it, folks. This would be huge for us. We brought in some dogs. I think our pitching has gotten better now. You're talking about bringing in some other potential guys here. And the Angels move down to the #5 pick. The Rockies get the #1 overall pick. The Diamondbacks, with a 1.8% chance, move 8 spots. Unreal in the field. Tampa Bay drops down 3 spots to be the 4th. So we get the 5th overall pick. Still not bad. But this gives us a chance, folks, because you know what I want to do? I think when it comes to the scouting contracts, that's the one I'm going to start emphasizing. No more pitchers. Maybe one guy with pitchers, but I want to make sure we get really well with drafting some infielders, some outfielders. We need to get strong now because I think our pitching is at the best right now that it can be as far as potential players that we've brought on. Ketel Marte is heading to the Nationals for a $27.4 million deal. 35 years old. He's going to be over there now with Rooker, who was traded over there a couple years back for Dylan Cruz. So Cruz is an A now. Matt Brash, coach, contract decision is made. And he says, "You caught my attention, but you haven't convinced me yet." Unreal. So here's the Rule 5 draft. Let's see what happens here. Looks like Jordan Adams is a former Angel. He gets picked up there. Sam Bachman, a former Angel, gets picked up here. And Tanner Murray gets picked up. So if we were to make our decision, right? You could grab some guys here, but none of them. Recommended player would be Bruce Zimmerman. Why? Russell Smith, 30 years old. He's 6'7". He's a starting pitcher. Why would I do that? I don't see that. None of these picks seem to be that amazing for me. So as much as that would be interesting, I'm gonna hope that our guys are ready to go. So we're going to skip the selection. You will not be able to draft any more players. That's fine by me. It looks like just a couple guys got picked up. None of our guys so far have gotten drafted that were on our board, so no issue there. Any players that you drafted they have to remain or they can be cleaned. Yeah, see, so it's like no reason for us to do that there. Glad that didn't happen. So we get another opportunity, I assume, to go. It says, look at this. Josh Smith. Seems like he'd be a good fit. You can, I guess, add him to the big board, see if he wants to do it. But I would rather go after Brash right here. A 2-year deal. I guess he didn't want a 3-year deal. So we'll do 7.75, see if that works out. And then go from there. As much as I would like Josh Smith, do we really need him, right? Like, when we look at this team, as far as our third baseman is concerned, like, infield is somewhat needed, but we have Trey Sweeney there. I wanted to do that. We have Blaze. Another infielder could be beneficial for us, but I'm not as worried. Technically, I guess we do need an infielder, but I don't really believe so. We have 26 players on the roster right now. Where did that come from? Who is? Let me look something up, folks. So Matt Brash is thinking about it, and he is heading to the Angels. So we take someone from the Mariners here, 2 years, $7.75 million. This is a big deal for us. This gets our guys in a good spot. So now we got Matt Brash there. I think we can probably move Matt Brash as a potential setup guy. And now we got some dogs here. It looks like we'll be able to lean on a couple different guys here to really ball out. So the bullpen is set. Kokonowitz, Soriano, will be the long reliever, but we got Hunter Brown, Shane Baz, Bruno Ramirez, Caden Donna, Soriano. Those would be our top 5 with Kokonowitz there. I would have loved to bring in like someone like Cole Reagans. I really would. There just wasn't any space to do so, and you gotta be okay with that, because when it comes down to it, you're talking about a really nice piece now as far as a reliever, and we have $27.74 million. Trout gets to go try to win one with the Braves. I think they have a shot at doing it over there in the NL, and yeah, I think this is a good thing for us. We'll kind of keep it moving here. I don't think there's any other free agents I'd like to sign. I think we're at 40 now. We are. So we got 40 men on the roster, 10 in the AAA, 4 in the AA. Now, Sizemore is a player that I could see moving up potentially, but I just don't feel like we need to do that now. I mean, technically we could make a trade, right? Like if we look at any of the block people that are out, there's no block that's out there. So I think we've done well. Tyler O'Neill to the Reds, Jake McCarthy to the Reds, Andres Munoz. Wow, he's going to the Rockies. That is weird. Sean Murphy, he took just a 1-year deal to go to the Brewers. Weird. Kind of keep it rolling here. I don't think there's any more free agents that we need to do, so we will go ahead and send to the arbitration hearings. Josh Smith, it says he's on our big board. He's rumored to be there. He's motivated. Man, he's motivated. If we brought him in, I guess what we would have to do is maybe get rid of Blaze. How would that work? Or Trey Sweeney. That might be the move. Get rid of Trey. Okay, so let's look at it here. He's looking at a 5-year deal. I mean, a 3-year deal is fine. $12 million. I mean, we got Cabrera. Yeah, if we trade Blaze, we'd be straight, I think. He's got good contact. He's solid against lefties as a lefty, which is nice. I think that could be pretty good there. 31 years old. I think that's a fair move. I mean, he's maxed out. If we could maybe get him for like... I'm going to see if I can get him for like... Ooh, he's like super low. We'll lowball it. Like, let's see if he wants to play for us. 3 years for $9 million. This will include a competitive balance tax will be deducted from your off-season budget. Let's see what he says. Hey, baby, we got it. 3 years for $9 million. So now that forces us to have to make a move here. And like I said, this gives us an opportunity to just trade one of the guys, right? It's Sweeney or it's freaking Cabrera. And Sweeney was always hurt. Cabrera is a little bit older, but Cabrera's been reliable. I think we send Sweeney away, look at trying to trade for a prospect, and see if we can get something there. I don't really need to get anything crazy. I think, you look at some pieces and you hope it work out. The Rockies are trying to give us a first baseman, and I kind of would like to see what that looks like. The Rockies were trying to give us a first base prospect, William Yu. I mean, he's got some... He would be on his last year, but we would need a first baseman eventually down the road. I don't think this would be too bad there, but he would... the issue is we have 41 men on the active roster, on the active, so I don't think that would work out there. I want to look at other prospects. We need to find somebody that's not going to be there. Starting pitcher... Charles Lindsay from the Giants. So let's look at the Giants there. Charles Lindsay. Yep, this would be it right here. He's a 3rd rounder of last year's draft. Do they really need a third baseman? I mean, Chapman's old, and then Lopez is not ready yet. So that gives them a chance. I think that works out there for us. We'll take Lindsay off their hand, and we'll make the trade there. So it looks like we got that done. Sweeney is no longer there. I think that gets us to 40. And what we can do with that starting pitcher in Charles Lindsay at 23 years old is currently in the single A. Now we're gonna have to figure out who do we want to remove, because we're at 94 players now. Is there a player that we want to get rid of? And wish them the best of luck. And I think, folks, this is the guy that we want to do it with. Zach Humphreys. He's just not it. 45,000. We got enough catchers. I think Caleb Roberts is going to get some reps down there. Dario Verde. Carter Binns is 30. I think what we can do here, 24 years, move him to AA, move him to AAA. And then that way, Dario gets it all in the AA to grow at 24. And then we get some veteranship there. Yeah, Carlos Cardona, maybe one day. Aro Vera's gonna. He's one of the guys I'm interested in seeing down up in the majors one day. Behind Christian Moore. Third baseman, I mean, Boev, he's all right. We got Ricky Varquette. It's actually quite durable, man. What if we moved him up soon? You don't want to kill him, but I think, I mean, Boev's 20. He's not old. Drafted in 2023. I think that could be an interesting move there. We move Ricky Varquette over to AAA. See how that guy kind of works out. I mean, Capri Ortiz, it's time to see him kind of play in the Trout AA there. Him and Vasquez will kind of mix that up. Plasencia and Guzman there. Jack Charles has the ability to come up real soon. It's just with Adele, Riley Green, Varsho, it doesn't make any sense to kind of mess with that. Interested in seeing how these guys are going to play out here in the outfield. Nelson Rada, Elijah Green, Mike Sirota. Their outfield is quite busy. So they got a lot of moving parts there, but AAA I hope gets really strong, because we've had a tough farm system, just not really doing much in this space. So we'll see what happens there. Not bad. I don't think I have to do anything anymore. Oh yeah, so now that we got the third base thing, Josh Smith's gonna play there. He's very good against lefties. Cabrera is very good to righties, and then you move Smith there. He's very good get good against lefties. So the back of the lineup gets very strong. This is a disgusting group, bro. And this is why I'm wondering, right? We got Lawrence Butler. He could play in the outfield. He could play designated hitter. His fielding is just as good as Riley Green. Varsho is still very solid. I mean, you give these guys an opportunity to play DH. Why the heck not? So we'll mix it up a little bit, you know. Let one guy play DH, the other guy shift, and then that'll kind of work out with Nick York and them there. I think we'll have a very healthy field at this point. So arbitration hearings, we're not bringing any free agents. Ronald Acuna goes back to the Braves. $37.2 million for 6 years. For the next 6 years is pretty good for him. That's awesome for Acuna. Trout's there now, so that's going to be really fun to see what happens there. I really don't see myself trying to bring up anybody else. Jose Ramirez to the Yankees. That's a very Yankee move to do. Royce Lewis going to the Guardians. 6-year, $134.2 million. That's a very good move for them. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Yeah, we look really good now. Look at that, folks. That's insane. This team dramatically increased starting pitchers and stuff. It is what it is there. But I think we did a really good job. I don't see myself trying to do anything too crazy now. We don't have any contracts to renew. And we have a very healthy crew. We're short technically a catcher, but I don't think I can. I can't do scouts yet. But this is huge. This team improved dramatically, and I'm really looking forward to this upcoming season, man. This is going to be really fun to see how these guys kind of all work out together. Pete Crow Armstrong, look at this. Lost their arbitration and was awarded $12.73 million. So PCA gets shorthanded. Looks like Shota also lost his arbitration. The Dodgers, Roki Sasaki lost his. Jackson won his $23.86 million. Ryan Walker won his. James Wood lost his. Wow. Crazy things there. We are going to go ahead and send to spring training. Oh. So here we go. We're in spring training, folks. That's going to be a thing that I'm going to be doing offline. Just kind of testing some players out. See who I'd like to work through. As you can see, like just on the depth chart, we have 31 starting pitchers on the roster there. A ton of pitching prospects. So we could move some players around and maybe look at outfield and stuff. But it's never, ever wrong to have a good amount of freaking pitching prospects. You always want to, like, the least amount is 15, but no one would ever have that. We have 15 reliever spots. Maybe we look at some relief pitchers down the road, but I really want to get a good thing there. So we're going to try to get the scouting right, and this is where I stand with it. I think the efficiency for position players, that's the one, but technically, I mean, his efficiency is super high, so we can get the position players in order there. I don't really think staff salary 15, we're only remaining 10,000, so technically if I found somebody at 97 or 98 million, it would work out. It's just the efficiency isn't that great. I think our guys' efficiencies are pretty high. I mean, technically efficiency is low there, but if we grabbed him, it would be just as low. The discovery would be interesting. We can use Kate Poliero to give us discovery, so we can discover more position players. That can set us up. We can continue to lean on these guys here to try to find some reliever or starting pitchers, but I want to be very effective with Artie Matoyer. So like that. But yeah, there's a lot of players right now, right, that are looking for contracts, extensions. Bruno Ramirez is one of them. He's wanting to get paid. You got Caden Donna. He's wanting to get paid. Luke Weaver again. Nolan Shanuel. It's time to pay the man. Brock Burke. He's 32. He wants a little bit of cat. Like, here's the crazy part. None of these contracts are scaring me. Like, I can let Zephyr John go. Nelson Rada. Look at it, dude. We would not have an issue holding these guys. We'd probably let go of Jorge Ruiz. But none of these contracts are freaking me out. So we have an opportunity to keep a lot of players and kind of keep the momentum going. The Angels are going to be fun this year, folks. We went out and we snagged some dogs. One guy, we got him for one of the cheapest deals I've ever seen. He wanted to play for us. You're talking about a guy here in Josh Smith who could play shortstop, first base, and he took a 3-year, $9 million deal. That's insane. We then went after a big dog in Riley Green, who I didn't expect we were going to get. But you talk about a player here that has an opportunity to take our outfield to the next level there. We then went after a pitcher who I think is going to be a really good player for us in Hunter Brown. He's coming over from another team here that's in our conference, in our division, and I think he's going to be exactly what we need for the Angels. And then we got lucky. We snagged up another division guy in Matt Brash. We get some speed here at 31 years old. You're talking about an ability for us to really surprise some folks. So, you know, we'll continue to work through this year. I can see myself kind of testing some guys out. Players like Matt Brash, we're not going to waste his energy out there. I'd like to see some of these other guys like Gilbert Villalobos get some opportunity here. But like Yuki Matsui's not going to be out there. Brock Burke, we're not going to waste his energy. I want to see J.R. Sizemore out there. And we're going to try some pieces out, man. So hopefully it'll be a fun time. I could probably say Sizemore, let him pitch a little bit. Shane Boz. Let Zephyr John pitch. Actually, Henry Baez. Let's do that. So it's going to be really fun to see how this works out. But this is I think this is the season. As much as I'd love to see Trout win with us, he's probably going to have a better chance to win with the Braves. Their team looks primed and ready to go. With Acuna back there, that's going to be a scary, scary team. Like, I think that we'll be able to see that, right? So this is what see, look at that. So they got Jarren Duran, Hae-Seong Kim, Ronald Acuna, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Ozzy Albies, Michael Harris, and then Trout. And then their catcher behind him is an 80 overall. So Trout has a great opportunity to do it. And I think that's the right decision, man. I really wanted to win with him. We just did not have if we were going to win it, it was 2 years ago. Just didn't get it done. That'll do it for us today, everybody. If you liked what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think. And most importantly, subscribe to keep up with the series. I really appreciate everyone that stopped by today. Y'all have yourself a good one. And as always, let's go Angels.